reviewing the Broadway production of Buena Vista Social Club with book by Marco Ramirez, music by Buena Vista Social Club, developed and directed by Saheem Ali, and choreographed by Patricia Delgado and Justin Peck, running at the Gerald Schoenfeld Theater at 236 West 45th Street in New York City. Put your dancing shoes on and rumba your way over to my Patreon page where you can, for as little as $1 a month, support my work here as well as my classic cinema podcast, Yesterday's Matinee, where the latest episode is always available early for patrons. The latest episode is the 1981 Lawrence Kasdan neo-noir thriller Body Heat, starring William Hurt and Kathleen Turner. So you can go and check it out there. Thank you to all my current patrons, especially my Neo and Hamilton tier patrons, and welcome to the new ones. Links to my Patreon and Spotify pages will be in the description.
Music studio in Odawara. Right now, you and I are 1,000 miles away. But a sound like this, it tends to travel.
I need to sing them.
Young man, you might know my music, but make no mistake, you do not know me.
There's this place in Marianao. We're playing there tonight with as much feeling as we want.
What's this place called?
The Buena Vista Social Club.
Me quemo, oye, para que me quemo, oye, que me estoy quemando, oye, lo que rico está, oye, mira mi pasillo,
It's not your fault. The world made us take sides.
It was about a year ago when I reviewed Buena Vista Social Club for the first time when it was running off-Broadway at the Atlantic Theater Company, and I was glad to come and see it again to review some of the changes that have been made in the past year. I must say I'm happy with the changes. The story has been slimmed down, the cast is stronger, and the luxury of a larger stage has helped the show breathe in a healthy, lively way. The musical follows the reformation of musicians who used to play at the eponymous Buena Vista Social Club in the 1950s, a lively music and dance hall in Havana, Cuba. The musicians were scattered after the communist takeover by Fidel Castro. The musical kicks off in the 1990s when music producer Juan DeMarcos, played by Justin Cunningham, attempts to bring the now aging musicians back to make an album celebrating their legacy of Cuban music. Things hit a snag after a few songs when vocalist Omara, played by Natalie Venetia Belcon, who's returning to the role, decides to back out of the project, leading to a series of flashbacks of her time as a young performer, reflecting on her time with her sister Haiti, played by Ashley De La Rosa. The young Omara, played by Isa Antonetti in the flashbacks, longs to escape from the controlling thumb of her sister and finds liberation in the music at the Buena Vista Social Club with its blend of race, culture, and musical style. The flashbacks are where most of the meat of the story is, as we see Omara's conflict with her sister, her building friendships with the musicians like Campe, who is played by Devon T. Moody in the past, and Julio Mange returning to the role of Campe in the present, and Ruben, played by Leonard Reina in the past, and Leonardo Batista Sterling in the present, who is returning to the role as well. But most importantly is her meeting of Ibrahim, played by Wesley Ray in the past and Mel Seme in the present, Mel Seme reprising the role, whom Omara falls for. Compared to where the show was a year ago, Buena Vista Social Club has trimmed a good bit of the fat, slimming down the runtime a bit, which is great. Gone is the subplot about young Campe and Ruben helping smuggle goods at the club, which was a humorous anecdote but didn't do much for the core plot. Having the narrative trimmed focuses more on the primary plot, which is admittedly fairly thin, and more importantly focuses on the music, which is more the focus of the show than anything else. It is a jukebox show featuring songs from the Buena Vista Social Club like El Cumbanchero, Dos Gardenias, and El Cuarto del Tula. My apologies if I mispronounced any of that. The band is fantastic, and the music had many in the audience dancing in their seats. This is where the musical excels, enrapturing the audience, especially those familiar with the songs, as I heard several audience members do their best to hold back singing along. There were even some great calls from the audience in response to familiar songs. Now I don't speak a lick of Spanish, but I had a friend of mine whose heritage comes from Puerto Rico, and she speaks Spanish. So she came and saw the show with me. I asked her if the songs, which are all sung in Spanish, had any bearing on the plot. She said no, that it's more about feel than lyrical connection, which I totally got from the point of view versus a lyrical context. A bit of the cast has been replaced, which I think worked for the better. That's not saying that everybody who is no longer returning to the show is bad. I just think that as a whole, the cast that we have now is better than the one we had before. Natalie Venetia Belcon returns as Omara, as I said, and she is amazing, as well as her youthful counterpart, Isa Antonetti, who has taken over as young Omara. Devon T. Moody and Leonardo Reina have a relaxed brotherly bond as the young Campe and Ruben. I think Wesley Ray's young Ibrahim is played a little too insecure. I get that he's a black Cuban who is dealing with the racism that is present, but I would have liked a little more self-confidence in his youth, enough anyways to make Omara be a bit more romantically interested in him. Having a Broadway stage to work with versus a smaller off-Broadway house has its pluses and minuses, as we get a much larger space for the artists to move around on stage, especially the dancers who were practically dancing on top of each other at the Atlantic. Here, Delgado and Peck's vibrant choreography has room to breathe. The flip side of it is that the show loses a bit of its intimacy that was present at the Atlantic, but that didn't seem to bother the audience too much, nor me either, as I feel that giving this show more space allowed the performers more room for expression. Also, the opulence of a Broadway house takes a little away from the lived-in club atmosphere that the Atlantic could more accurately portray. Also, I should mention Dede Ayite's costumes are magnificent, with just the right flash of color and contour to delineate class, culture, and character throughout. Buena Vista Social Club is light on plot, but what's there is tightly streamlined, which is nice. But let's be honest, most people are coming for the music, which is textured, dynamic, and full of life. The show has evolved into a tighter story with a cast that has mostly found more definition in the characters, and because of that, I feel it has improved significantly since its off-Broadway run. If you love Latin music, particularly Cuban music that harkens back to the 1950s, Buena Vista Social Club should be a joyous celebration of culture and music. But I am only one man's opinion, so be sure to leave yours in the comments below. If you'd like to see Buena Vista Social Club, I'll leave a link in the description where you can get tickets. Also in the description will be links to my Patreon and Spotify pages, as well as my social media handles where you can support my work. You can also support me by liking and sharing this video, subscribing to the channel, and clicking the notification bell to be alerted to future reviews. My next review will be the new Broadway play, Purpose. Thank you for watching, and I will see you at the theater.